key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can, keep things clean, to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back.
Arnold Schwarzenegger walked into the View like he owned the place, and honestly, for a few moments, he did. The man known for playing the Terminator wasn't there to crack jokes or please the panel. He came with something heavier: truth. The kind of truth that makes people shift in their seats. And when he started talking about immigration, the studio felt it hard.
If you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that.
He didn't come with vague speeches or sugar-coated lines. Arnold dropped it plainly. If you're an immigrant in America, you should act like a guest in someone else's house. Respect the rules. Respect the country. Keep things clean. Simple, right? But not when you're sitting across from a panel that thrives on twisting every sentence into a moral tug-of-war.
Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
Arnold went on, "If I go to someone's home, I don't trash the place, I don't break stuff, I act grateful." His point was clear. Coming to America is not a right, it's a privilege. And if you abuse it, you're not just breaking laws, you're disrespecting the opportunity. Now, here's where things start getting real uncomfortable for the hosts. By the way, before we continued, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and share more intriguing stories. Now, let's continue.
The key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can, keep things clean.
So when Arnold started using words like illegal and crime in the same sentence as immigration, Sunny Hostin's face tightened. You could almost hear the producers behind the scenes hitting the panic button. But that was just the beginning. Arnold wasn't just talking about law, she was telling his own story. And it wasn't your average "I worked hard" speech. This man came to the US at 21 years old with absolutely nothing. No money, no connections, no safety net. Just big dreams and brutal discipline. And from that, he built an empire. Not just in bodybuilding, but in Hollywood and then politics. That's not luck, that's America. So when The View brought him on, they thought they were getting a feel-good immigrant success story who'd trash conservative policies and pat the table with applause lines. Instead, they got roasted.
To make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back.
Arnold didn't come to play sides. He came to remind people what the American dream actually means. You come here, you build, you respect the system, and you give back. The audience loved it at first. They clapped, nodded, smiled. He was feeding them what they expected until he flipped the entire vibe. Suddenly, he wasn't celebrating just the success. He was challenging the mindset, that sense of entitlement, that idea that America owes you something just for showing up.
You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
And here's what made the air go cold. He said, if you get the education, the job, the chance to build a family here, then you owe something back. Not complaints, not crime, you owe service. Gratitude. Work. The mood shifted. The panel stopped smiling.
Keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that.
But don't forget, there's 90% of the people who come here are trying to do the right thing.
They're less likely to commit crimes.
And a lot of what's happening right now is people are getting snatched who shouldn't be snatched out of the country, people who have visas, people who have all those things. So we want all the right people. We don't want people who are doing bad stuff.
But they are less likely, immigrants are much less likely to commit crimes in this country than actually American-born citizens. And the other thing I just wanted to say is that Governor Newsom did not ask for the National Guard to come to, the federal government to come to California. There are 9,000 local law enforcement officers in California.
Because Arnold wasn't just telling his story anymore, he was calling out their narrative. Now, here's where it all turned. Arnold wasn't just setting the record straight, was lighting it on fire. After painting that heartfelt picture of the American dream, he dropped a line that hit like a punch to the gut. You've got to do things legally.
If you were governor right now of California, how would you be handling the ongoing crisis that the state's facing?
Well, I think the most important thing is when you are in a leadership position like that, is that you are inclusive and that you work together with everybody. And so it means that you have to work together with local government, the state government, and the federal government. They have to work together rather than fighting each other. Fighting each other's agendas and all of that stuff, that doesn't do good to anybody. And so that's number one.
People doing illegal things in America, especially foreigners, they're not smart. The studio fell silent. He compared it to visiting someone's house. If you're a guest, you don't kick your feet up on their table and break their windows. You keep things clean, respectful. But he wasn't talking about house rules, she was talking about the United States, and he was staring right at the women of The View while saying it. Sunny Hostin, you could see her lean in, trying to jump in and cut him off. Her discomfort wasn't subtle, because what Arnold was saying didn't fit their script.
The National Guard is under the governor's supervision.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, like for instance, when the National Guard was sent to Iraq during the Iraqi war, I was not the one that said, oh yeah, go to Iraq. The Bush administration came and said, we need those people.
They came
and
to you.
They came to you. And we need the resources, we need the equipment, we need the weapons, we need the vehicles to ship to Iraq.
Yeah.
And then they ship
It's the
to
coordination.
Iraq. So that's why I say it is very important that we work together.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who is asking whom. The bottom line is we work together in order to solve the problem.
He wasn't anti-immigrant. He is an immigrant. But he was putting pressure where it hurts. On illegal immigration. On responsibility. On truth. Arnold wasn't rude. He was calm, even gentle. But that's what made it worse for them. No yelling, no insults. Just a successful immigrant telling the world that the system isn't broken, it's being abused. And whether or not the ladies at the table liked it, that message landed.
The former California governor delivered yet another verbal takedown that sent visible shivers down the spines of the banshees on The View. With calm conviction, Schwarzenegger explained that immigrants shouldn't always be focused on what they can take from America, but on what they can give back. He challenged the entitlement mindset head-on, reminding everyone that true gratitude is shown through service, contribution, and respect for the nation that welcomed you. How many immigrants can we truly say have given back after all the opportunity, freedom, and security this country has offered them? That was Arnold's point, and it hit hard. He wasn't demonizing immigrants, he is one, but he was asking the tough question: are we raising a generation of contributors or complainers? Schwarzenegger's words weren't just for The View, they were a wake-up call for the entire country. And whether you agree or not, his message demands reflection. As expected, Sunny Hostin didn't like the angle Arnold was taking, so she shot back.
Then came the part that made the tension in the studio almost unbearable. Arnold looked straight ahead and said, "If I get everything from America, education, jobs, the chance to build a family, then I have to give something back." It wasn't a suggestion, it was a challenge. And it landed like a brick on The View's carefully polished table. He wasn't just talking about being a good citizen, he was calling out an entire mindset, one that expects all the benefits of America without showing any loyalty or gratitude in return. He didn't flinch. He didn't backpedal. He kept going. Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, they didn't know where to look, because the way Arnold said it, you couldn't twist it. He wasn't bashing immigrants, he was holding them to a standard he lived by. One that says, don't take advantage, don't commit crimes, don't treat this place like a hotel. It's a home, respect it. And this is where it got spicy. He didn't just drop a feel-good line and move on, he went deeper. He pointed out how America gives people everything, and in return, they should be giving back. Volunteering, supporting their communities, contributing, not looting, not complaining, not pushing blame on a system they barely try to respect. It was direct, unfiltered. And it shook the table, because it wasn't what they brought him there to say, but it was what a lot of people were thinking. Just when you thought Arnold might ease up, he dropped another truth bomb, and this one hit the hosts like a slap. He pointed out something most networks won't touch: the hard numbers. According to a 2023 report from the Department of Homeland Security, over 56,000 non-citizen immigrants were arrested for criminal offenses: homicide, sexual assault, drug trafficking. And in Texas alone, more than 250,000 criminal charges against illegal immigrants in just a few years. This wasn't conspiracy talk. This was cold, documented reality. But The View wasn't ready for reality. Sunny and Joy started shifting in their seats, looking for a way to steer the conversation somewhere anywhere else. They were hoping he'd let it go. He didn't. Arnold made it crystal clear. Immigration is a privilege. Not a free pass to ignore the law, not a loophole to slide into a country and start breaking the rules. If you come to America, you play by American rules. Period. And just like that, he took aim at the heart of the narrative so many of those hosts try to protect. Because once you admit that illegal immigration has real consequences, dangerous ones, you can't hide behind the feel-good slogans anymore. And Arnold wasn't about to let anyone hide. He came in with facts. And the facts were ugly, but they needed to be said. Arnold wasn't finished, not even close. With the studio already on edge, he looked straight into the camera and took it even further. He said immigrants shouldn't just focus on what they get from America, they should be asking, what can I give back? He talked about volunteering, about helping out in after-school programs, supporting the Special Olympics, giving time and effort to make the country better. No paycheck, no glory, just real contribution. He said it like it was common sense, but in that room, it sounded radical. The faces at The View told the story. Shock, discomfort, that awkward half smile when you're trying to pretend something isn't offensive, even though it clearly cuts deep. Because Arnold had just hit the nerve no one dares to touch: entitlement. He wasn't talking about charity, he was talking about responsibility. If America opens its doors to you, you owe something back. That doesn't mean posting hashtags, it means action, effort, service. And with that, he exposed something unspoken on that stage. How many of the people cheering for open borders actually give back themselves? How many immigrants, legal or not, are doing something to strengthen their communities rather than just take from them? Arnold wasn't judging, he was demanding higher standards. Not just for immigrants, but for everyone who claims to love this country while turning a blind eye to what it takes to actually deserve it. That's when Sunny Hostin couldn't take it anymore. She cut in, trying to soften the blow Arnold had just delivered. She threw out the usual counterpoint. Don't forget, 90% of immigrants are trying to do the right thing. Then she claimed that immigrants are actually less likely to commit crimes than American-born citizens. It was the classic move: shift the conversation, blur the focus, make it about crime rates instead of legal status. But Arnold wasn't talking about percentages. He was talking about principles, about law, about respect. And Sunny's interruption just proved how badly the panel needed to change the subject. She kept going, saying innocent people are being deported, those with valid visas, people caught up in the system unfairly. But Arnold never said every immigrant was a criminal. That was never the point. His focus was on illegal immigration people breaking the law the second they crossed the border. And here's where it got even messier. She tried to turn it into a battle of stats, but Arnold didn't bite. He wasn't playing numbers. He was talking about the rule of law, about integrity, about what kind of message it sends when we bend the rules just to feel nice. You could feel the air leave the room, because this wasn't about right versus left anymore. It was about reality versus spin. And the host didn't like where the reality was going. Then came the part that really set the panel squirming. Arnold fired off a shot at Gavin Newsom, and it landed hard. When asked how he would handle California's growing crisis, Arnold didn't hesitate. He said leadership means working with others, local government, state, federal, everyone. Not picking fights, not chasing headlines, not pushing agendas just to score political points. He didn't name-call, he didn't shout, but the message was brutal. Newsom isn't leading, he's grandstanding. And if that wasn't enough, Arnold brought receipts. He reminded everyone how Newsom chose to align himself with protesters and illegal immigrants, even daring President Trump to arrest him. It wasn't brave, it wasn't strategic. Arnold made it clear it was reckless. He called it exactly what it was, pouring gasoline on a fire and then pretending to be shocked when things explode. Instead of calming the chaos, Newsom played into it. Instead of building coalitions, he pushed division. And when the political backlash came, he tried to walk it back with a weak apology. But by then, the damage was done. Arnold's calm criticism hit harder than any shouting match. He didn't have to insult Newsom, he just showed the contrast. A leader solves problems, a showman creates them. And when the state's falling apart, showmanship is the last thing California needs. The views table was silent, because Arnold wasn't just challenging immigration policy anymore. He was calling out the entire system that enables the failure and the faces that defend it. The hosts weren't done trying to corner Arnold, though. They brought up the National Guard, hoping to trip him up. But again, he didn't blink. One of them pressed, "You were governor during the Iraq War. Did you send the Guard?" You could almost hear the trap being set. But Arnold calmly explained how it really works. He said the National Guard isn't just at the governor's command. During times of crisis like the Iraq War, the federal government requests troops. They don't ask politely. They require resources, manpower, equipment. And as governor, you coordinate, you work together. And there it was again, that word, together. Arnold kept hammering it, like a nail into the heart of partisan politics. You don't handle state-level chaos by picking fights with the president. You don't tweet and posture while your streets burn. You sit down with local leaders, with federal agencies, and you fix it. You could see Whoopi Goldberg shift in her seat. This wasn't going how they planned. Arnold was defending coordination with the Trump administration during the most unpopular decisions. He didn't say it to be provocative. He said it because it was the truth, and they couldn't stand it. He wasn't siding with anyone. He was siding with order, with safety, with facts. And the more he talked, the more obvious it became this wasn't an interview. It was an ambush. But Arnold came prepared with armor made of experience, and it was working. And then, like a wrecking ball aimed straight at the studio's comfort zone, Arnold backed one of the most controversial decisions in recent memory: Trump sending in the National Guard during the protests. He didn't flinch, he didn't dodge. He stood firm and said what almost no one on that stage wanted to hear. If cities are burning, if people's lives and businesses are at risk, then yes, restoring peace is the #1 priority. And if that means deploying the National Guard, then you do it. You could practically feel the air getting sucked out of the room. Whoopi's expression? Tight. The panel didn't even try to hide their discomfort. This was sacred ground for them, and Arnold just marched right through it. He wasn't defending chaos, he was defending order, and that's what made it so devastating. because the hosts weren't prepared to argue with someone who had actually been a governor, someone who had made those tough calls under pressure, not just commented on them from a TV couch. And while the show tried to steer away from the uncomfortable reality he was laying out, Arnold kept control. No shouting, no drama, just cool, steady logic. The kind that cuts deeper than outrage ever could. This wasn't about liking Trump or not. It was about what works when chaos breaks out. And Arnold made it painfully clear. Leadership isn't about hashtags. It's about action. Even if that action makes headlines scream. As if things weren't heated enough, the video pulled in another voice, Ben Shapiro, bringing even more fire to the conversation. This time, the spotlight turned to Ilhan Omar, and the accusations flew. Not just against her policies, but against her attitude toward the very country that gave her everything. Ben pointed out the irony with brutal precision. Ilhan Omar, a woman who came from Somalia, one of the most dangerous and unstable countries on earth, was now standing on the floor of the U.S. Congress, calling America one of the worst places in the world. Why? Because the military was on the streets during a protest, because of a parade, because of Trump. Arnold's earlier words suddenly felt even sharper. He talked about immigrants being grateful, about giving back, about respecting the nation that opened its doors. But what Ilhan Omar was doing? That wasn't gratitude. That was contempt dressed up as politics. She didn't just criticize America, she attacked its very identity, calling it colonialist, racist, oppressive. And yet here she was, thriving in a country she claims to despise, holding power, making laws, taking every benefit this system provides while spitting on it in public. The question hung in the air like smoke after a blast. If this country is so awful, why is she still here? And better yet though, does a nation so evil allow someone like her to rise to the highest levels of power? The hypocrisy wasn't just staggering, it was on full display. And it wrapped up everything Arnold had said in one uncomfortable truth. America's not perfect. But it offers something almost no other country does a shot. And if you're lucky enough to get it, maybe just maybe you should stop trashing it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, drop your thoughts in the comments. See you on the next one.